Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. What's going on? I see you like everywhere now. Like I'm on LinkedIn, you're there, like on other people's pages. You haven't got your grind on.
I've been kind of busy. So you were the one like a long time ago when we talked about like LinkedIn. And so I always had a LinkedIn page, but I never really utilized it to the fullest extent for myself. And
Mm,
I started using it and I can talk about it now publicly. So
yeah.
I've written, I was approached by some oncologists who actually breast surgeons, I should say,
Mhm.
and write a curriculum to work with their breast cancer clients in recovery.
What?
So
Nice.
I can talk about it now because I actually am going to be doing things with them actually in a couple weeks, but it's in a private group. But I'm really excited. So they're through Beaumont Hospital, which here in Michigan is near Detroit.
Okay.
So it's called Comprehensive Breast Care. So that's something I'm super excited about. And so for those of you who don't
Nice.
know, I'm a breast cancer survivor of 15 years, and there's a void when people have cancer and then they get all the support that they need while they're going through the cancer. And then once it's done, it goes away. And so my hope is to fill that
Interesting.
void with Pilates. I'm super excited about doing it. Really.
Yes.
So, but yeah. So,
That's I never really thought about that. Like you think like it's just like you get this attention because you have this like obviously it's all hands on deck
yeah.
and then it's like okay, you're good, have a nice life. Then what, right? Like
Well,
so
and a lot of times when people have cancer, there's ongoing treatment, like for a few years afterwards, and like even one, like I got it intermittently during that phase in my treatment, but then
okay.
once it's gone, it's gone. So
Yes.
it's I'm really excited about providing something like that,
Mhm.
both on a online presence, but also here locally as well. So, um,
Love it.
yeah, so I'm
I'm
excited.
all about that. Like, yeah, because you're serving on both levels, right? Like you have this global reach, and then you have this hyper, like this local focus,
Yeah.
in an area that you're passionate about. That's so good. That's like, I think that should be the play everyone should run with whatever it is that they're doing.
Well, I think too, it's something that it truly like. Do you remember we're talking like a long time ago when you did like know your what, know your why, know your how, and all of those things. And
Yes.
when you think about breast cancer, there's all kinds of medical trauma that's wrapped around um, the procedures, and there's a lot of. I mean, it's scary. And people,
Yes.
I mean, even though the surgeons want to advocate for it as much as they do, there's really still a lot of emotions that go along with it as well. And
Yes.
body image. I mean, there's just a multitude of things, Martin, that we could talk about for a long time. So,
Well, yeah, and I'm sure we can dive. I want to answer, get to Sunny's question in a second, but it's almost like when you see that there's this myriad of things that need to be addressed, what is there a formula in terms of what you address first, or is that even individualized in terms of the people?
what the breast cancer doctor asked me to do was so I took they gave me like a formula, so how to structure the classes, and
Okay.
it was addressing like lymphedema drainage and upper body strength, and obviously working within everybody's range of motion, um, and then even like a little bit of lower body stuff. But then I took a couple steps further and
Yeah.
want to create a community where women can talk about like what they're feeling and connect with, and the connecting is really important to me, is connecting with other women even if they don't live locally, where they have somebody that they can talk about it, where
Yes.
what they're like, they know what they're going through.
Yes.
And it doesn't really matter the age, because I mean, I think the women that are younger, and what I'm seeing is so many women that are much younger, like in their 40s, that are having procedures done. That I mean, I know three right now that are going through treatment that are between 38 and 43.
Yeah. Right.
Real.
Knows no age.
But yeah, so
Can you Sunny's question here, if you can answer that. Does that help with lymphedema after mastectomy?
I'm sorry. Let me go back. Your question.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. It says, does this help with lymphedema after mastectomy?
Absolutely. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yes. To do, and honestly, Martin, I'm going to be very, I was doing things, arm circles is lymphedema drainage.
Right. Yes. Until people understand. Yeah.
Drainage. And then I did Allison Limehouse, has rolology, and she's got exercises in there that I didn't even realize that were for lymphedema drainage, because I actually bought a book a long time ago for myself to look at what can you do, but it's also like learning how to like do like self massage like through through the lymph glands, so like just like doing the downward pressure. and
Mhm.
and somebody, some people have it and some people don't. It's just to keep your lymph glands and your lymph system clear is really good for everybody, not just for breast cancer. So, but
Wow.
this and all of the, there's just like even doing like, because a lot of times women, if they've had mastectomies specifically, like their pec muscles are really tight, and just to
Yes.
even my arms, I guess I like to just begin to open their chest,
Yes.
doing little things like just even little pulses, just getting that muscle moving, because for so long, it depends on the women and the procedure, but so many women really become really kyphotic.
Yes. And
Roof,
just protecting those muscles, right?
and it's, and you don't realize it. I had a very minimal procedure done, and it's still, I was still finding myself being very rounded, just because to even ride in the car unprotected, like it hurts from bouncing.
Mm.
Something you don't even realize, like just even like driving down the road and hitting a pothole, or I
Yes.
corner the wrong way. So
Yeah. Wow. So you've written this curriculum and you have this group coming out. So when does that roll out?
that's going to roll out in April is when it's going to roll out.
That's exciting.
I'm really, so it's and again, like I said, it's a private group, but I'm super excited about doing it, and I've known for quite a while, but I couldn't do anything until I started, working directly with the doctors and doing things. So, but yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited. Um,
Wow. That's great. Your audio is cutting in and out a little bit there. I think I missed the last bit of what you said.
Hold on, I'll move then. Can you hear me now?
Yes, actually, that's good.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just said that I feel like I'm really excited about doing it, but I couldn't talk about it because the surgeons asked me not to until it was time. So
Yes.
anyways,
Yeah.
so, but
That's
I
amazing.
have to just comment on something you said earlier, because like you were talking about going with the flow, and it's like, I chose not to do madness during March. I mean, I'm watching everybody else do it and I'm doing it privately. I'm just not doing it on screen is what I'm saying. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it. If it doesn't happen on screen, it doesn't happen, right? As people say, like, if I didn't record my workout on my Apple Watch, I didn't work out. Like, it's like, no,
Yeah.
it can still happen. It doesn't have to happen in the public arena, like absolutely everything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I also want to say before I hang up with you is Allie Green and I are doing Embracing Change, Talking Through Trauma tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So they can listen to you
Okay,
and then they
cool.
can hop over and listen to Allie and I. So,
Amazing.
yeah. So I've been, and Allie does it with me once a month right now, but I've had, last week I actually had Misty on.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been doing more Pilates. Like I have Pilates. I actually have Pilates teachers lined up for the rest of March.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
It's good. It's good to see you like moving in. Like, I mean, like, I feel like I just looked at my feed yesterday. Actually, I introduced someone to like someone in my class wanted to follow me on Instagram, and they're looking at my personal victory feed, and it's just conversation. It's just like I can't remember the last time I actually have a picture of me moving on my thread, like my whole thing. So I saw some of yours, and you were actually doing some movement and stuff like that,
yeah.
and it's good to keep that balance. It's almost like it's like, do you do Pilates still, or do you just talk about doing Pilates all
Oh
day?
no,
Right?
I do Pilates every day.
Right.
I do Pilates every day. I'm actually,
Yeah.
so in December, my studio moved and I'm in a much smaller space, and I'm
Mhm.
actually at here. I'll turn. Let's see if I can remember how to. I don't know if I can turn the camera here. I'll just turn me. So
Oh yeah, I see it.
yeah. So I get my head out of the way. So I actually act, and it's just like, it's kind of like you. It's like so it's just, I'm just in a small space, but
Yeah,
I,
that's like,
I, I partnered with a lady who owns a photography studio. And so
okay,
any of the like videos of stuff that I do, I can do out there, and it's professionally, like she's got stuff that, like, so I can have a
smart.
professional setup to do it with as well. So it's an odd blend, but it's working, and it's
That's a
actually, it's,
clever blend.
yeah, it is a clever blend, and it's been fun. So, but anyways,
I hope someone hears that and they're like, "That's brilliant," because everyone thinks, okay, you got to be in physio, you got to be somewhere, but like that's like if you want to have like a global thing, you kind of need a good background and like have those,
well,
like that's
the
pretty
other thing
smart.
where I was located is I was really, so I was not handicap accessible because there was stairs and there was no elevator. I didn't have roadside, like I was in that location for more than 2 years, and people would still say to me, where are you located? And I would tell them where I was, but I didn't and I couldn't have like signage like outside, like they wouldn't let me do a sandwich board, they wouldn't let me do anything. And where I am now, I'm very visible.
Oh,
And it's
perfect. Yeah.
easily, it's all handicap accessible. And I actually moved, it's literally, Martin, 2 minutes from my house. 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Katie Green's comment here says, "I hate the feeling of assigned or required by some social things." There is that sense of it, right? Like
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
that's and actually that's before you go, if you guys like, and that's exactly what I wanted to get into is the fact that like you feel like you have to do something. So I have to speak on this. I have to. Well, I don't really have to. I don't want to. And then the flip side of it is, I don't want to look performative when I do it. I don't want to look insincere when I do it either. And that's the thing I don't want to say fear, but that's the thing I'm almost as cautious about is not necessarily like Katie's saying, feeling like I'm required to do it. It's like doing it and then it coming across as not sincere or performative or like, well, that's just what you're supposed to do. So like you mean, so that part of it for me too is like I can sniff out when people are insincere and I don't want to ever come across as being inauthentic, performative, insincere, like all that stuff. Like I have no time for that. So I'm always that's where my caution is when I do stuff like this.
Absolutely. And it's, I think sometimes too, it's, I really try to come across as being definitely non-performative, especially on Instagram, because there's so many people that you know darn well that what they're doing is performative for Instagram. I don't know, and I'm not taking nobody's
Mhm.
advice or anything like that. I just try to
Right.
be authentic for myself as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Judge not lest you be judged, right? I'm like, I'm judging you, so I'm not putting myself out there to be judged when it comes to certain things. So, um, going more on Joe's comment, I did 3 days of a Great Wolf Lodge with my 2-year-old grandson without pliers every day of my life. I'd be sitting out like every other folks in my age group. Right, exactly. That is my pitch for Pilates, like all the time. Is that I said last night, I had 20 people in my class last night saying like Pilates is not to make you better at Pilates, it's to make you better at your everyday life.
great.
So
See, like even you teaching and just scanning the room to show how many people you have, to me, that's truly authentic when you're doing something like that. And I mean, even though you probably were someplace different than your studio, or maybe
yes,
not.
it was. No, that was a community center. Like that was a super fun, like yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
that's awesome. So,
Yeah, awesome.
but I think authentic with what you're doing, messaging that you're conveying, and being authentic. And I think, I tried to find my first interview with you, Martin,
Mhm.
from the very first time I came on with you, and I couldn't find it. But my point and what I'm going to say is I think back to that, and it's like I feel like I've come so far in my messaging, like
Yeah,
online. I wanted to do it more for me than necessarily to do anything. But it's like I'm more comfortable talking online and impromptu things, and just I've seen my own growth with it, with all of it, and it's just like the trauma informed work that I've been doing, and
yes.
it's just everything's good.
That's good. That's so great. Like I see, like I think from our first conversation too, it's almost like and this is for you, but this is for everyone who's watching too. It's like the world is waiting for you to emerge.
Took a hot minute. Boom.
Right? So like the world legit, like the world is waiting for you to emerge in all of your gifts, all of your talents, and everything you do. So when I see you, like I said, I see you on Instagram, I see you on LinkedIn, I see all these places, and you're speaking with authority, and you have people in, and you're just doing your thing. It's like that's exactly it. I think all of us need to just get the courage to just step out and confidence and do it because we're so talented. And like you're a perfect example of just how like you're just doing great work. I was so like it sounds weird to say I'm proud of you, but I'm like, go. Every time I see you, I'm like, nice. Get it.
But I want you to know that we're like really inspirational from my very first conversation with you, and just fine tuning my message and fine tuning my in relaxing my own appearance. So you need to know that you've had a part in that as well. So
Thank you. Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So
Awesome. Okay, I'm not gonna take over your whole morning here. I'll jump off, and if someone else would like to join me,
thanks for letting me join you this morning. It's been truly enjoyable. So have a great day.
Thanks, Tami.
Bye.
Get that.
Do I have to take myself off, Martin? Or?
Yeah, the top right corner.
All right,
X.
I'll go. I'll come back on then. Thanks.
Right. Yeah. Hi there, Rechie. I see you, Rechie Valdez. And Nannette's comment said, my mom said this morning in her class that she was too old for Pilates. I said, no, you're exactly where you need to be. Your spine and your body will thank you. Facts. I loved having my parents in my classes. That's so fun. Rechie, I don't know if you want to join me quickly and just talk about the live that you're doing later today. Happy International Women's Day. House of Pilates, Sarah, I see you there. And Katie, as we were saying earlier, I'm glad to see that things are growing and things are going well in your business. Awesome. My friend, Jason Faulkner, aka Spread Love, where is he? Mr. Spread Love jumped in. He's not here anymore, but I just want to give him a shout out. This is his shirt, and if you see the Spread Love shirts around, it's the guy, educator in Toronto, who has his clothing in like Foot Locker and stores, and he just had launched a kids line. And yes, he is here. What's up? So I just love his gear. I just love the hustle. And if Jason, if you want to join me, jump on for just a quick minute. I just want to ask you a quick question about that. Rechie, if you want to join me as well, I can have more than one person on here. We're doing it's always a live, it's a freestyle, so wherever we go with it. I had some things to talk about on International Women's Day, and Tami we just personified all of what I was going to say anyway. So we'll go where we need to go with it. Give me a thumbs up if you want to join. Yeah, isn't it like I love the color too? Okay, I'll bring Rechie on first. And Jason, if you want to join me as well, you can. Hello, my friends.
Good morning.
Good morning. How was that International Women's Day virtual we were just watching a minute ago, first of all?
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was
so
very
good.
fun. Yeah. I was thoroughly so good morning to everybody. A happy International Women's Day. Thank you for pulling me in. I was just like I was just kind of going in between meetings, but I appreciate you pulling me in here. This is a big day. It's one that I love very, very much because it's one where we think about, like, for me, myself, it's thinking about like my ancestors and all the women that came before me. And it's a day where I just get to celebrate us as women and all the things that we do. So thank you for pulling me on.
My pleasure. Like I love it's so casual, so impromptu. But can you just take a second and just say who you are for the people in the crowd who are just like, this is like your crowd jumps in, but my crowd hasn't seen your face before. So
Sure. Good morning, everyone. This is Rechie Valdez, MP for Mississauga, Streetsville. Today, again, we're talking about International Women's Day and breaking the bias because, you know, internally we do have our own biases, but we all try to work towards a world where we can break through some of those boundaries so that we can have a more gender equal world.
Yeah, amazing. And then for yourself too, in introductions I've read about you in the past, introducing you as the first Filipina in as an MP as well.
That's correct.
That is awesome. And the reason why I brought that up is because as I was looking for, and first of all, wrestling with the whole performative International Women's Day, do I do something? Do I say something or not? Who do I put up? What pictures do I put up? Do I put a picture of my mom up? You know what I mean? Like, where do I go with it? And I went with Harriet Tubman. I just put a picture of the statue that I found the other day up there with the idea of pioneers, right? And that's a massive pioneer and recognize that. But I wanted to come into people like yourself and celebrating pioneers in our own space, in our sphere, in the ways that we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So congratulations to you for who you are and what you're doing.
Thank you.
And can you talk about your live that you're doing later today?
Yeah, sure. So about 1 o'clock, I get to join We Watch Childcare, because they're spotlighting basically a book called Little Trailblazers. And so I just get to have a conversation with them. We Watch provides childcare. They've been around for 35 plus years. And once upon a time, my son was also being taken care of while I worked downtown. So I do like to advocate for We Watch, particularly because they empower women who stay at home to open their homes to provide childcare to other women out there. So it's really that type of space that they create that empowers women to be employed, take care of women who have the capability within their own homes. That's tremendous. It's almost like giving back. So it's another option for moms who have kids, and it's another childcare option, which I love. And so I get to talk to them about the book that they're trying to promote. So I'm excited to do that later on at 1 o'clock.
That's awesome. And you do your lives as well on your page?
Yes.
And
So
yes.
those lives, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where with COVID and everything else, I didn't want to stop having conversations. I still wanted to talk. And so an Instagram Live is just a wonderful way of like reaching more people doing cool things. And so I love to spotlight the businesses within Mississauga Streetsville.
Love it.
And having those conversations is more like getting to know their story, because with COVID and everything else, it's really important to support local. Even businesses like yourself, supporting local, because it's really important to do that to keep our economy going, and to share the stories of those entrepreneurs who like hustle every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you hear some fun stories. Like I love hearing the story behind the story and how they got started or like what inspired them to open up, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah. So how long have you been doing those for?
I would say I started like right when the next wave hit. So I'd say a couple months now, but it's been a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that I won't have to do it online anymore. I'm hoping to do more in-person things. So
Right. Yeah.
we're kind of in that transition. So that's what I'm really looking forward to as well.
Yeah. Amazing. Um, Thank you. Thanks for jumping on. I like it with Tami. I don't want to take up all of your time because I
Yeah,
know this is totally random. But I appreciate you jumping in, and I love the fact that you're supporting small businesses. Like my one of the lines that someone on here said, like support, amplify, and connect.
exactly.
And that's really what we do. So thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Mm. You can just hit the X in the top right. There you go. Nice. Good morning, Victor. What's going on? So that was a local MP. As much as I'm looking into going to city council, she is there. She's doing it at a member of parliament here in Toronto. So at Mississauga, um, Canadian government is different. I know some of you in the States in different places. So and she's doing a great job and really connecting with the community and just being hands-on and just doing a great job. Like we said, support, amplify, and connect. So um, yes. On the whole point of like International Women's Day, we talked about the performative thing, we talked about amplifying, we talked about supporting. What she's doing with We Watch is so cool with entrepreneurship, ultimately, just empowering people. Everything comes down to me in terms of being seen, heard, and valued. seen, heard, and valued. So I'm going to throw those three words out there, and I want to unpack those for the next little while that we have, because whether we're talking Black History Month, like last month, where like I was putting up stuff, Women's Day today, this Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it is, and all those things, we're acknowledging pioneers, we're acknowledging everyday people, and saying, I see you, I hear you, I value who you are as a human being. So Women's Day is really a cry to celebrate you as a human being and not being treated as lesser than, like in days past, for whatever reason. Even this morning with Katie Vincent on as a canoe athlete, Canadian, Mississauga, person from Mississauga, Olympian, all these things. She's a pioneer. She's the first, I think it was the first year that it had a female canoe as a sport in the Olympics. She's a bronze medalist. She has a bag of medals. And she talked about the fact that this is something that needs equality. And I love the fact that athleticism was the common language, that she was basically standing up for every woman who's coming after her to say, like, this is a sport, we're good at this, we need to be seen, heard, and valued for our athleticism, our ability, our talent, our gifts. And through sport, she's paving a new path. So whether it's Women's Day, Black History Month, whatever the topic is, we all need to be seen, heard, and valued. What are your thoughts on that? The other part of that at the same time was what she was saying when Katie was talking, and she was talking about how important it was to find that value and equality and all those different things, was like, when you get to that place, is to remember to look back and how are we paving that path for others? How do we celebrate where we've come from? And I hear everything that's going to happen today. I see it through the lens of a Black man, where our skin tone is fighting for that equality. So I celebrate women who are fighting for that equality. I celebrate any and everyone who is fighting to be seen, heard, and valued in an arena where they should be seen, heard, and valued. Does that make sense? So PVE design, I see your comment there. The positive energy we share is so beautiful. Yes, absolutely. So even like my like share love shirt, and the positive energy that goes up for Women's Day should be contagious, so that should translate to whatever tomorrow is on the schedule. Like, what's tomorrow's international what day? Like, whatever group that is, as long as it's like a legit group, like there should be that same sense of celebrating and positive energy with it. Nannette, are you free? Would you like to join me on screen? I'd love to catch up with you. Good to see you, Meg. Sure. All right, I'll invite you on. Just take a second for that to pop up. Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How have you been?
Man, I've been good. I've been doing my thing, It's been
Yeah,
fun.
I know. I miss you. I've been quite busy and have not had this hour you know,
Yeah.
to participate and listen and be inspired.
Yeah. Thank you. It's well, life changes, right? Like we kind of get back into our groove, and like I've had to be very diligent about carving out like 9:30 to 11:30 as like my block in the day where like this is still the non-negotiable. But yeah, it's a vacuum.
Certainly. Yeah, I feel like since the holidays, it's just been go, 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 you know. And I mean, it's a great thing that the COVID, what it is, you know, but things are starting to resume to some sort of normalcy, whatever normalcy was before. I think it's all changed, but that being said, it's busier. I mean, we've talked about that word busy. Like busy means nothing, but carving the path, you know, it's a new path. So yeah.
And you've been doing some learning, right? Like you went to Catherine Roth Nash's thing.
Yeah, I still have one series left. Like our last gathering happens in less than 2 weeks, which we present a thesis of some work that we've been working on. So it's pretty intense. It's intense. It's been wonderful though. Yeah.
What a great learning opportunity.
Indeed.
What an exhausting learning opportunity.
Exhausting, indeed. But in such a great way, you know, it's after, you know, I mean, teaching for 20 years now and being able to step back and be a student, you know, in the work again and seeing it from a different perspective. And I mean, she's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. And I've learned a lot and just been inspired in my teaching, you know, to look at it from a whole nother perspective. So yeah.
Do you a confidence question for you? Coming out of that, do you walk around like, okay, I'm still learning, like humbly, I'm still learning, but I really know my stuff. Like that sense of like I got 20 years on my belt and I'm still learning stuff. Like I'm good. Like, do you ever get that feel? Like just keep it to yourself. Like, but like that sense of like I've invested in this.
It's sort of turned my world upside down a bit. You know, things that just my teaching actually has changed. I'll say that. It works. It works. And it, you know, we all talk about education and, you know, having more tools in your tool belt and it is true. But it's interesting to see it work with my clients that I've been teaching for how many years and just to tweak something in a different way. And it's been enlightening, you know, and they love it. You know, your clients, again, just, they eat it up, you know, they eat it up. So I do it for myself, but I also do it for them, you know, so that they can learn, you know, they can continue to challenge themselves and to change, which is great. Yeah. But it's been this whole like seen, heard, and valued thing. Time out. Yeah.
Time out. You still didn't say I'm good. Like, I mean, like...
That's the seen, heard, and valued thing, man. I think I have a hard time giving myself credit for the things that maybe I've done and I've had a chance to do that others may never be able to do. So I will say today on International Women's Day, I feel good and I feel lucky and honored and maybe seen and maybe heard. I'm not quite sure about that. With my clients and my community that I'm in, absolutely. You know, but I'm not quite sure how to propel that forward now. You know, where do I go now? That's my question for myself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
As
so the value piece?
Your guest earlier, you know, like we all sort of ebb and flow and change and maybe redefine who we are. And I think I'm in a redefining moment, Martin.
That's exciting.
Which is exciting. It's exciting and it's challenging all at the same time. So yeah.
For sure.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Sounds like you need like a vacation to just like step
Yeah,
away, sort it out,
absolutely.
come back.
Absolutely. And I think when it's all said and done, like I said, you know, being that our last meeting is coming up and it's not over. I mean, that's just like that's to say that, okay, I've done this part of the work. There's
Evolving.
still so much work. Oh yeah, there's so much more to unravel and explore. But I definitely think that there needs to be some downtime to let it all resonate, you know, percolate,
For sure.
marinate, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, and that will help. I think that will help for sure.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes.
Wow. Michael Brown, hello, sir.
Michael. Hey, Michael. I think he was just at Kathy's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, there's so much to learn, but I think that's, you know, the saying, that seed, heard, and valued thing that I'm just kind of camping on for a moment. Yeah, that seems so important. Like today, especially, but then that kind of translates to like every day, right? So, you just went horizontal on me
Oh,
there.
sorry.
Okay.
Wait, Nannette, wait.
All right.
I'm back. Here we are.
All right. So yeah, so I think the value piece too, I wonder, like, that, you know, that is a piece of it too, is recognizing for ourselves what our value is as a start point.
Right.
Right. Because I can't impose on other people, value me if I don't see what my worth is.
Right. And it's interesting because there was a point, I think, at the beginning of this whole COVID thing where, you know, we all had to just like go and like try to figure it out. We're there, we're pressing, we're coming up with ideas, you know, and I think running like that for so long, and now there's like this like time of like, okay, everything is here and in front of you. Now, where do I stand in it? How am I?
Yes.
What I've created and what I
Such
am,
a good question.
you know?
Where do I stand in it?
Where do I stand in it? Yeah. Yeah.
I had this moment last night, I did this community class. And in this class, like, it was more people. Apparently people snuck into the class. So the first time that, like, it's, you know, between all of our lockdowns, this is probably the third or fourth class this year. And so it was a really full class, and taking people through it. And a lot of people were struggling with exercises and trying to kind of get them on the same page. And I took a moment to demonstrate teaser 1, teaser 2, teaser 3, and hip circles, and just say, like, you know, and no, like, maybe 3 people in the room could do like a teaser prep with 1 foot on the ground, roll down, roll up. And I just wanted to show them, this is where we're going this year.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people came up to me afterwards. They're like, that was so inspiring. Thank you so much. I can't wait. And there's a sense of like, I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, that was like more valuable than the class. And I walked away from the class like, wow, I'm like really good at this stuff. Like,
Well,
you get this excitement, right?
That's
it's
so
like
awesome, Martin. It just brought up something that I think is definitely part of my passion and part of my value. I believe that's opening even more, that now that we're talking about this. I have the opportunity to teach a senior class at a senior center in town.
okay.
And I absolutely love them. I mean, they're moving. I mean, since I took over the class, this was now probably 5 years ago, they are moving at a rate and in a quality that I don't think they ever thought they could. And each week we sort of talk about and do this very thing that you're talking about. Like, this is where this can go. This is what this movement means in everyday life. And they appreciate, again, you're not doing Pilates to be good at Pilates. Like, you're doing Pilates to be good at X, Y, and Z in your personal life. I mean, Joe wrote about it in Return to Life. I mean, we all know this. So that lights a fire under me, you know, like, to see them walk out with their heads high, better posture. I'm going to tackle the world at age, you know, double mine, you know? So it's brilliant. And that to me is definitely part of my redefining of oneself, for sure.
So that's one of those I'm good at this moments.
I'm good at that. I'm really good at it. And they love it. The same thing. It's the feedback. And it's not that I feel like we always need to be told that, but it's nice sometimes,
for
because
sure.
you don't, I think we sometimes don't give ourselves credit for what we do know and what we know well. It's almost like because we know it, it's just there. But then when someone tells us and reminds us of that, like, wow, you're like, well, I am good at that.
Yes.
I am.
Right, exactly. So then there's probably some child of one of the people in your class, or some grandparent of someone in your class, who is immensely grateful for the work that you've been doing with their mother or their grandmother or their grandfather, who thinks that you are the best and the most important person on the planet because you're adding years to the life of their grandparent, right?
That's right. Right. Yeah. It's like, it's an effect, and it carries through the community or someone's family, someone's,
exactly. So
and
now
that's
at the
huge.
same time, and then where we are right now, we're thinking, okay, Kathy Ross Nash knows something I don't know, or she just gave me something that I should have known for 20 years. And then we get in our heads a sense of what we don't know, and we don't celebrate what we do know.
Right. And look, it is. No, and for sure, like going through this, it's like there was a lot that we all knew, because it is for teachers. Like this particular program is for teachers that have been teaching. This is to flip us around and say, now look at it from this perspective. And it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. Challenges us as teachers completely.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. So I love that. So just to echo what you're saying there, like just celebrating what we know, and being able to celebrate that there's still room to grow at the same time, without forgetting that we do know things, right? Like,
absolutely.
So there's this sweet spot within those things. And that's why I like, it just, even this conversation, for us to sit back and say, like, I'm good, I'm making a difference in someone's life. Like, this is actually having a massive impact on one person. Like, that's huge. Like, we're doing some good work here.
Definitely. And to all the women in this International Women's Day, I've met people and taught people in all parts of the world. I mean, Spain, Indonesia, where else? Singapore, Brazil. And I'm amazed at how interconnected we are. And it's just enlightening. It's absolutely beautiful to know these women and to see them on Instagram and to see them on doing wonderful things in their communities, in their countries. It's fabulous. It's so, I warm, I feel like such joy thinking about all of them that I've met through the years. So it's really great. Yeah.
It's been a treat. Like, my wife just came in here in the chat, and there's like, just obviously I think she's awesome as a woman, but I'm saying, like, the women that in our industry that we see, or like yourself, are just making the world better and making ourselves better, and just walking that and inspiring people is just so fantastic. So love it. What do you have going on in terms of like workshops, like online classes, anything going on at the same time you're doing all of your learning?
Yeah, I have an ongoing class on Mondays that I Zoom in. It's 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, and it varies from either mat or sometimes spine corrector, and other times it's on other apparatus. So it switches every week. You can go to EspritPilatesLouisiana.com and see what classes are offered. And other than that, I'm keeping a pretty low profile because I've got so much going on, studying and teaching and running a business, just doing that. Yeah, I would love to. I have some ideas for the future, but they're not completely developed. So I don't feel capable of talking about them now. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but I will. Hey, you'll be the first to know.
Nice.
Yeah, some wonderful ideas.
You're
Yes.
focused, not busy. You're
I am
focused.
focused. I'm focused on these tasks at hand that are in front of me, you know, and to be focused on those and not sell myself short in other ways, I think is important. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Love
But
it.
thanks, Martin.
My pleasure. It's always good catching up with you.
You too. I know. See smiling faces again. We'll
Awesome.
have a fabulous week, and hopefully I can see you again soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
Okay. Yeah. There we are. Adventures of Tami, Gardner. Philip Griffin, how are you, sir? Hi, Amy. Thanks for jumping in. Um, yes, Michael, I can imagine how challenging and inspiring those classes are. This has been a great day. I really appreciate all of you jumping in here. PBE had to jump off to teach class. Thanks for always inspiring us. You all inspire me. I just have to say that right out the gate that you all inspire me, and I really appreciate that even though we started this almost 2 years ago, that this is still going on. I could just jump on and have Alex, MP Rechie Valdez was on here earlier. Tami was on, and we just had Nannette. So it's pre Pilates and just some great people. Appreciate all of you. Looking forward to some of our chats that are coming up. Tomorrow, as you see in the comment section below here, it says Carrie Ann Bradley. She's our core conversation. She's our podcast that's dropping tomorrow. She's actually my guest again tomorrow. So we have so she's coming back for round 2. She has a book that launched today, which is called Move More at Your Desk. And we're going to continue that conversation. And she's so funny. It's like she's this wild, theatrical Pilates person who really knows her stuff. And so we had a great conversation about how hard writing this book was. We always think that like we're going to do this big, sexy project, and then you get in the thick of it and you're like, why did I sign up for this? So she has some real talk on that, and you'll hear it in the podcast, and we're going to unpack that a little bit more. Once again, shout out to Spread Love, Mr. Spread Love. That is Jason Faulkner and his gear. Everyone and their buddy makes a t-shirt. So for this guy to go from that to out in Foot Locker to be doing his thing, he's got something special going on. So there's some really great people doing great work. Shout out to our MP who was on, just random politician in my space, just celebrating small businesses. And that's what we do. Right? We're supporting, amplifying, and connecting whatever industry you're in. Give them some love globally and locally. So that's all I got for today. Thank you for joining me. We have Carrie Ann tomorrow, and Miss Dylan Coffin is my co-host. So we're getting it. See you guys tomorrow.